Welcome back to After Hours, every single one of you. In the last week, we've seen baseball, basketball, and hockey make their return from the coronavirus pause. But you never forget your first. Like the UFC battling back to existence months ago. Dana White had these guys and gals throwing down in Jacksonville, Florida. And who could forget Fight Island in Abu Dhabi hosting its first card. The Apex Center in Las Vegas up and running as well. And that's where Abington native Peter Barrett will make his UFC debut next week. An 11-3 professional MMA record, with his last dub coming by unanimous decision in Dana White's Contender Series in August. And that win granting him the opportunity to showcase his stuff on the sport's biggest stage, the UFC. And the man himself joining us here on NESN After Hours, Peter Barrett, also known as Slippery Pete. So where'd that nickname come from?
So the Slippery Pete has absolutely nothing to do with fighting. It was given to me by my stepdad quite some time ago before he passed away. We were all at my mom's house with my stepsisters talking about all these vacations and reminiscing about all these awesome times that we had had. And one of my stepsisters goes, "You know, I remember all of these trips and these vacations. I just don't remember Peter being around." And my stepdad goes, "Who, Slippery Pete? He was always there. He was just out chasing the women." So lo and behold, I get to the gym. I tell the guys the next day, and the name just stuck.
Oh, yeah. Ladies, what's up, man? How jacked up are you for this upcoming fight?
Oh, I'm amped, man. This has been a year in the making and even a decade in the making beyond that. So this is the validation of everything I've been putting my life towards for like the last 10 years.
Listen, the feeling of stepping inside the UFC octagon, I mean, it comes after not only the physical work for you, but turning back the clock here to 2017 in a 2-month span, you lose both your younger brother and your father. How difficult was this emotionally and mentally, this battle for you?
I mean, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. It was pretty harrowing. It put me in a really dark place. I was kind of spiraling out of control for a while. If you had a minute to catch that Contender Series fight, I do a deep dive in there with the promo. But you know, I wake up on the 5th of July after having a great time with all the Cage Titans family, big cookout amongst all the fighters and promoter at his house, to the news that my little brother had passed away to an overdose of fentanyl, which just kind of rocked my world. And at that point, I was scheduled to fight in 2 months, and you know, it just totally sidelined me. I decided, you know, I got to be with my family. I got to go do these things. I got to take care of what's more important in the now. And, you know, we got through that. And then 2 months later, we hadn't heard from my dad in a day or two. My brothers called me, asked me to go check in on him. I went to his apartment and I found him cold, you know, on his couch after having suffered a heart attack the night before or that morning. I'm not really sure what the chronological order was, but he was still cold when I found him. It was probably the scariest, saddest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, to have something like that happen back to back.
You've been open about your battle here with depression and getting help, and sometimes, especially in sports, and this sport too, I mean, there's a stigma around mental illness here. I mean, what would you say to others silently battling similar demons?
Reach out and get help. I mean, you know, my mom and my girlfriend were really big advocates of me finding a therapist, and, you know, finding the right therapist is also really important. You don't want to just find someone that doesn't resonate with you or doesn't hold similar beliefs to you. So I did my homework. I vetted a few different people. I spoke to one therapist who referred me to another and said, "Listen, I think this would be a much better match for you." And we really hit it off. And there was a lot of one-on-one sessions to get through that. So, I mean, with the support of my family, my girlfriend, strong therapist, and a lot of speaking to my soul is really how I got through that.
We just saw your 4-legged therapist there who just crossed paths behind you. What's her name?
Her name's Maisie, and my girlfriend's awesome. She planned it. We'll call it a synchronicity, but we actually got her the first Father's Day that I didn't have my dad. So she was like my little bundle of joy to keep me smiling that day, and not to be down in the dumps missing my dad.
Before you go, you got a couple more fans in your corner. I mean, all of us here at NESN are behind you. It's prediction time. How do you see your debut going? Come on, let's go. Let's hear it.
So I've been telling myself I'm coming home with $70,000. It's a 10 and 10 contract. 10 to show, 10 to win, and I'm getting that bonus. I'm setting that house on fire. I'm starting that night off with a bang. I can only imagine I'm going to be one of the preliminary fights, maybe on ESPN Plus. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to fight on ESPN. It doesn't really matter. I'm going in there with one mission in mind, and that's to put his head in my bag and take it home with me.
I love it. I love the confidence level here. We love you, Peter Barrett. We know you've battled a lot inside the octagon and out of it. So, like I said, we got your back, and we'll check back in with you after the fight. Thanks for kicking it with us here on After Hours.
Definitely. I appreciate the time.